What is going on, guys? It's the Mad Dragon, round 3 of the Six Nations just around the corner. We've started having our team announcements, which means we've got another selection reaction video to do. We're going to take a look at the teams, who's been announced, who's some good choices, some changes coming in along the way, giving some thoughts on the teams, and of course, a score prediction that is either going to be bang on or miles off and probably pick the wrong team to win. This one, Ireland versus Wales. I think I've already got my winner in my head, but, you know, we'll go through the teams and we'll do it all anyway. As always, drop down in the comment sections your thoughts on the teams as we go through them. And let's jump straight into this one. With the home side, Wales, going into this one, we've had a lot of changes. Last week we went on to play Italy, lost to Italy by 7, 22-15. On the scoreboard, you think, oh, by 7, you know, that's pretty... No, that game for me was a very... I can't believe that's the final score where that ended up, really. Italy didn't punish a side I think they could have dominated in that game. And from a Wales standpoint, it might have been the worst Wales performance, even given where we've been with the 14 losses and all that in a row. The performance was just all over the place. You could tell it was on the end of the cliff before falling off. And to be honest, to get 15, I think, in that game was very surprising to me. Warren Gatland's gone. New coaching staff coming in, and with them bring a new flood of players in. Now, short turnaround time to be able to fix this before Ireland, which is a matchup that Wales haven't done well against in the last few years in the Six Nations. But we'll take a look at the team and see what's shifted up. Nicky Smith and Elliot D, I think, is a good move. I don't think Gareth Thomas has done too badly, actually, on that loose set prop to him. But Nicky Smith's scrimmaging over the last few years has been actually on really good form, but not been getting into that starting team. And I'm hopefully he hasn't petered out towards the end now, and it's all going to come back to sort of bite him. Will Grisham is coming in now for the tight end, which I don't think is a bad move at all. Henry Thomas, okay. Azarati for me isn't there. Is the tight end. So, you know, bringing in the new tight end, new front row. You know, you've got experimentation time. Looking forward to see how this will work out. The Ireland scrum is just a monster. So, you know, best of luck to these boys. Lock department, Will Rowlands and David Jenkins going in once again alongside. David Jenkins has been busy. One of the lads I probably haven't spoken about a lot over the course of the Six Nations. He's doing a lot of hard graft in the background. Will Rowlands is still someone for me that he's probably up there for like, oh, he's you know, in the top sort of 3 or 4 picks. I still don't know if I've been blown away by Will Rowlands in that number 4 shirt, honestly. Back row, Jack Morgan, Tommy Raffel, and Talupe Faletau coming in the number 8 shirt, who played his full 80 last week, even after the back of an injury, and people were like, oh, you know, I put him in my fantasy team, and people were saying, oh, he'll be on for 50 minutes. They brought Aaron Wainwright on and slid it to 6, and Talupe Faletau got to play the, you know, full stint of that game. And looked okay back in the game after, you know, long-term injury, back in now. Experience in that department. I don't think it's a bad move where they're probably going to go with this Wales team now just to see out the Six Nations, just bring in, you know, experienced players, a few more caps just to see out the Six Nations, and then, you know, when new coaches take over properly in Wales, that'll be probably where you get to see more and more of the newer players coming in. But as a back row, that's still looking decent. Halfback department, though, Thomas Williams going alongside Gareth Anscombe. That's right, a 10 at 10. Who would have thought it? Who would have thought of this magical combination? Ben Thomas at 10. I don't think he's done a terrible job in terms of the way he's attacked the line, but he's not a 10. He isn't a 10. He's a 12 who can play 10 and says himself, I'm a 12. So it's just forcing people to be in this position. I don't ever think is a good move. It's great to have utility. As a backup is great, but I don't think he should have been started. I kind of feel a bit bad for Dan Edwards to have not had a good shot at 10 and seen how it had gone and, you know, get that experience under his belt. Ben Thomas now going to slide back to the 12. Gareth Anscombe coming in is a big bolster in terms of experience and knowledge with playing these teams with his caps as well. So I think that's a good move. Ben Thomas going in alongside Max Llewellyn, left out of the team originally for Wales, which I think so many people were astonished by, is in great form at club level and didn't get in, and a lot of us had big question marks around this. But now going in alongside Ben Thomas at centre, that's an interesting looking centre partnership. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And then in the back 3, Ellis Mee going in alongside Tom Rogers and Blair Murray. I think it's an exciting back 3 as well. You know, we have to, you know, give a bit of credit to where the Wales team is at. They're not going to be able to just throw out a team that's suddenly going to start dominating the Six Nations. But isn't this team sheet far more interesting than the team sheets we've been seeing over the last couple of weeks? Josh Adams last week. In the preview video last week, I said Josh Adams the week before had his worst game of his career. I think the game last week actually trumped it. I think it was even worse. He had like 2 try opportunities, went begging, yellow cards, penalties. I was like, oh, Josh Adams just unfortunately he's not there. He's not there. You've got to put someone else on this wing. And Ellis Mee coming in, who's his own little buzz of excitement now on that left wing. I think that's a good move. Blair Murray's been doing okay in the fullback shirt as well. Tom Rogers on that right wing has been doing okay at holding it down. I'm looking forward. For maybe the first time in this Six Nations, I can say, you know what? Looking at that team, I'm looking forward just to see how they get on. Do I think they'll beat Ireland? No. No, I don't. But I think this is a team that could be able to do something. A new coach is coming in. New tactics, you've got nothing to lose. So, why not throw in some different setups? I'm looking forward to it. Replacements, Evan Lloyd, Gareth Thomas, Henry Thomas going on in that second half. That's your sort of the Warren Gatlin front row. They've done okay. They've certainly held out in their sort of first 40, and they've been coming off. So I don't think it's bad to chuck them on afterwards, especially with, how the depth of the Ireland forward pack as well, right? And then the rest of the replacement forwards, Teddy Williams and Aaron Wainwright coming on. So the 5-3, always going to be tricky against Ireland, who do love going for their mauls and their physicality play 5-3, but they've gone for it because then the replacement backs, Roger Williams, Jared Evans, and Joe Roberts, which, again, it's just a much more interesting sort of setup. Joe Roberts coming in there now as well. Can cover a couple of different positions. Jared Evans coming in as an actual 10 replacement. So Ben Thomas might not have to think about, am I going to have to fill back in at 10 if Anscombe has to come off. So they've got another 10 there. Let him get on with his centre game. Roger Williams at scrum off. Still, I think Roger Williams has done okay. I still think I would have liked to have seen Ruben Morgan-Williams get into this. I've seen a couple of games of the Ospreys and he's looked dangerous. I actually don't know if he's out with an injury or anything. I have no idea where he's at. But he was another one that was sort of left out of that team originally when the team sheet came out and I thought could have got in. Overall, a lot of changes can normally disrupt team chemistry and, you can be all over the place. But in all honesty, where Wales have been out through the Six Nations anyway, can it be worse? Can, you have more offloads to nobody? Can you have more missed passes? It's like playing a game of Rugby 25 at the minute over there. So, new team, interesting, and genuinely looking forward to it. But, certainly a team I think that got a better chance of winning this game. Ireland, who last week went on to play Scotland, won their game, which I just saw coming. Ireland have got such a good run against Scotland. Had a couple of things drop off of them, which I've sort of noticed actually, and I've not really spoken about. The line-out situation's getting a little bit concerning. Maybe that some of the throws for this Ireland team have just not landed on the mark or not quite getting where they are. They've got a change in the front row now with Dan Sheehan coming in to start. Also, his first start at captain for the starting squad for the men's international for the squad as well now. But yeah, this is a game Ireland shouldn't fear. Similar to what I said with the Scotland game where they had such a good record against Scotland. The last few years for this game has been Ireland domination. I think it's fair to say 31 points to 7 last year, 34 to 10 the year before, and 29 points to 7 the year before. Wales did actually win back in 2021 by 5 points, but then you're going further back, 32 to 9 to Ireland. It's the sort of game where Wales do struggle to get scores in this fixture, and Ireland tend to love getting the scores. This is a bonus point looking game potentially for Ireland. Now, had a few knocks there this week as well for them. I saw their injury list. They lost Caelan Doris out with a bit of an injury as well. They lost a couple of other players out with injuries. They've been forced into some changes, but Ireland is one of those teams in the international rugby scene where depth in seemingly every position isn't an issue, so they sort of just throw everyone in who they want to. So take a look at the front row. Andrew Porter, Dan Sheehan, Thomas Clarkson coming in the tight end. Finlay Beelam's moved to for the bench this week, and why not give Clarkson a shot. Dan Sheehan having his first start at the Six Nations, been on the bench for 2 games. A lot of people regard him up there for one of, if not the best hookers in the world, to be fair. I don't think he's had. Not last week, he didn't have quite as much impact into the game as I was expecting. The first week, he did have a good impact from the bench. So being able to start the game, probably playing a full, sort of 60 minutes, I guess. Probably they want to keep Dan Sheehan on. Maybe they take him off a little bit before, maybe about 50 minutes. Lock department. Joe McCarthy comes back in alongside of Tyke Byrne. Joe McCarthy's someone we haven't seen for a while. Ryan Baird. Ryan Baird's not there. I don't even know. Was Ryan Baird out with one of the injuries? I did see a little list of the injuries that I had. I can't say I've memorised them all. But Joe McCarthy coming back in. It was the boy who just blew up into the international scene last year and got right involved with the Six Nations, back alongside Tyke Byrne. Back row, Peter O'Mahony, Josh van der Fleer, and Jack Conan going in the 8 shirt now with Caelan Doris out. And Jack Conan's one of those lads who I think is being sat on the fence a little bit now at the minute. For people not talking about the Lions tour, I think Jack Conan's been good. I think he's coming on and making an impression. He can do the 6 or the 8. And he comes on from the bench and makes a big impact. Starting at 8 for them, I think Jack Conan could be one to watch in this game. I think he's been very, very good, but sort of flying under a few people's radars of just how good Jack Conan has been. Halfback partnership, James Gibson Park goes back in alongside Sam Prendergast. If you're Jack Crowley, watch from afar, as unfortunately where you're at now. But Sam Prendergast still starting that 10 shirt. I think Jack Crowley actually comes on and does sort out the Ireland team a little bit better, but Sam Prendergast is your boy at the minute. Centre partnership, Robbie Henshaw going in alongside of Gary Ringrose. Bundy Arkey moved to the bench. They did some chopping and changing around. Gary Ringrose was on the bench last week. Bundy Arkey has not got into this Six Nations as I was expecting. They've obviously had a team style change, and going back to last year where I think he might have been their best player last year. Every single, phase of play seemed to involve him smashing the ball up into the line. He was on someone's shoulder. He's breaking away, tries and everything else. He has been used as like a ruck support machine, this Six Nations. I've been keeping an eye out for him because I've had him in my fantasy league every week so far. On every week I've been just sort of underwhelmed by the performance. Got a try in the first game, but it was basically the only real thing that happened in that game for him. And I don't know what that is, because Bundy Arkey is capable of so much more, and I don't know whether that's an Ireland coaching staff thing, not using him to his full extent, or if the new game plan just doesn't suit what he brings to the game. At the minute, I think that's a better setup for the way they've been using it. Robbie Henshaw, Gary Ringrose, I'm looking forward to that centre partnership. Hopefully Bundy Arkey comes in and makes an impact from the bench, because at the minute he's been quiet for me. And then in the back three, James Lowe, Mac Hansen and Jamie Osborne filling in that fullback shirt. This is a dangerous set of the back three. James Lowe, I still think that Ireland do preference that James Lowe wing over the other wing, but Mac Hansen is similar to keep your eye on as well. The Wales defence, hasn't been great, but the left wing for Wales with Josh Adams in has just been the absolute weak link in the Wales defence on that side. It has been just the target zone for every team so far. So I wouldn't be surprised if I see Mac Hansen getting over for Trevor. Then Josh Adams not in. Switching up there, I think that's probably a good move, but, I think they might try and target that left wing of Wales a little bit more, so Mac Hansen might be someone to keep your eye on. Replacements then, Gus McCarthy, Jack Boyle, and Finlay Bealham, so, certainly a lesser capped front row to come on in that second half than maybe you'd be expected going into the Six Nations, but, good to get, time on the field for some of these guys. I wonder what they'll do, actually, with this front row, because Andrew Porter stays on for the whole game. He just doesn't come off. He's got so much utility and fitness for a big guy. Hopefully Gus McCarthy and Jack Ball do get on. With Dan Sheehan and Andrew Porter starting, they might go late into this game as well. I'm sure Finlay Bealham will come on relatively early, though. Rest of the replacement forwards then James Ryan and Cian Prendergast coming in as their replacement forwards. Conor Murray, Jack Crowley and Bundy Arkey as the replacement backs. The bench-wise, no, I think the backs replacements are fine. The forwards, yeah, James Ryan, Finlay Bealham, yeah, it's not as strong as we'll see in other games across the Six Nations, but does it need to be? Probably not. I still think, Conor Murray and Jack Crowley coming on together is a good sort of setup, just from an experienced head with Jack Crowley and the way he plays. I do like the way Jack Crowley plays the 10 shirt, to be fair. And Conor Murray will choose that pass to give him the most time to make his own decisions. I like that setup. What do we think then in terms of our predictions for this game? Ireland are going in as favourites, right? I think we can all agree there. Are Wales going to be able to turn around this appalling run of games in 1 week of losing a coach and having a new coach come in and suddenly try and I don't think so. I think this is a game Ireland can certainly see a bonus point trying and probably should aim for, just to be able to really get involved with that table now, with France losing to England last week. Get yourselves up there, take the most points you can away from this game. I wouldn't even be surprised if they actually start turning down threes and actually really focus on going for that bonus point try. I think it's something Ireland certainly can come away with. What do we expect from Wales in this game? I think Wales can get tries. I still think that the Ireland performances, even though I think the performance against Scotland was better, there are still areas that you can punish with this Ireland team, which is interesting considering how stacked the side is. I still think Wales could get a score in. I think they could get a score in. I think from a Wales standpoint, it would be safer to take your threes when they're on offer and stuff. If the game starts getting away from Wales, seem to abandon the penalty game, which, considering that's all Italy did, and ticked the scoreboard away and took it away from Wales, it might be something that Wales just abandon and go for their own tries. Discipline for Wales always an issue. They do give away a lot of penalties, and Ireland, They might take a couple of 3-0. I think if Wales start giving away those penalties, you go for the line out. The Irish line out hasn't been completely on point, but it's saying that the Wales line outs sometimes didn't even jump last week to try and stop Italy. So if they're not going to jump, you might as well get yourselves over there and go for the drive more where you know they can be so good. Score prediction, I'm going to go for an Ireland win. I think it's going to be similar to what we've seen in previous years, which is around that 20-point marker. I might go a little bit more. Yeah, I'll go a little bit more. I'm going to say 22. I'm going to go for my prediction on this one. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think of the teams, your own score predictions. Who's making your fantasy team from these lists? Because there's a couple of those Irish players certainly could be having a look at. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with all the latest team announcements that are coming out as well. And I'll see you all next time, guys. Bye-bye.